There's so much information tonight, guys. I'm super excited about this one. Hi, thank you for commenting. I see you. I usually spend kind of all week preparing for these workshops, which is a little bit crazy on my part, but that's okay. That's just how I roll. But for this one, I really spent all month preparing for it, and more than that, I've spent like 10 years preparing for this one, because it was about 10 years ago. Well, how old am I? Yeah, about 10 years ago that I was old enough to kind of be annoyed that the doctors still had not figured out what was wrong with me. I've been sickly my whole life, and by the time I was in college and I had gotten sick a whole bunch, I started getting throat infections a lot, and just my immunity was super low, and I gained weight a lot, and didn't really seem to matter what I ate, and I just got really tired of having people tell me that I was fine, and maybe I should exercise more, or maybe I should eat better, or maybe I should do something, that it was basically like me and not as y'all jump on, go ahead and comment so I can tell who's here with me. I realized that, they were saying it was something wrong with me and not like a real health thing. So I began my journey of natural health at a pretty young age for that reason, being in college, learning how to think for myself, learning how to do research projects and whatnot. And I just decided I'm going to figure it out. So I have done a lot of research on a lot of things, a lot of dietary stuff, which we'll start covering next month. And didn't really discover the hormone thing until a little bit later. But I've just had, from a young age, a need to understand what's going on with my body, and also a drive to just figure it out myself. The doctors are there to kind of help you with life-threatening things, or things that are easy to diagnose, or things that they really feel like can't be helped any other way. But there are a lot of health things that are really just your responsibility. And so I took that very, very strongly. I've always taken that tack. And so that's kind of where all of this comes from. I had better health for a little while in college. I was really able to do some things to help myself. Problem was, started taking birth control, like all women do, right? And that will really screw your hormones up. So a lot of the problems I had later, when I tried to fix them the way that I was fixing things when I was in college, it just stopped working. And I couldn't figure out, it's like I thought I had this figured out. I thought I knew, how to eat kind of poorly and then eat better, and, all the things the way my body worked. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse, and I wasn't able to fix it anymore until I got to the point where it was really a health rock bottom. And so I started doing all the research again. It was really helpful when I got diagnosed with hypothyroidism, because it gave me a place to start. But I started doing all the research again and trying to do it naturally, and I made like baby steps, baby strides. But as you'll learn later, there are some things that I just didn't understand I was missing, and so I never really could get all the way better. What are your hormones, okay? Hormones are substances that are created by a set of glands in your body, the glands that are part of the endocrine system. So your endocrine system, which is so funny because I knew a decent amount about hormones before I understood that there was like the endocrine system. So you can learn about this for like months and months and years and years and years, and then become an endocrinologist. But all you need to know is like little bits and pieces to start improving your health. You don't even have to be as much of a nerd as me to take some positive steps, which is great. So the glands that are in your endocrine system, I'm going to read them to you real quick, just so you know. Hypothalamus, parathyroid, thymus, pancreas, thyroid, adrenal, pituitary, pineal, and then the ovaries and the testes. So that is 9 or 10. I guess if you're a woman, 9. If you're a man, a different 9. In the body, and they produce hormones, these substances that are things such as cortisol, hey Jenny, cortisol, adrenaline, testosterone, insulin, estrogen, progesterone, thyroxine, melatonin, calcitonin, even vitamin D, I think they've decided is a hormone rather than a vitamin. So, guys, if as you jump on, I can see some of you, but I can't see everybody's name. So if you just want to say hi so I know you're there so I can talk a little bit more specifically at you guys. Okay, so I've rambled at you gland names and hormone names, and like I was saying at the beginning, I'm going to send you guys, if I have your email, I'm going to send you a list of every single gland. Hey Jenny, every single gland, every single hormone it produces, and what they do in the body, so that we don't have to go over that now, but you have that for your own research later. Okay, so some of the things that the hormones control, this is by no means an extensive list, but it's some fairly important ones. So growth and aging, temperature, body temperature, whether you're hot or cold, metabolism, brain function, your sugar levels, so that would be insulin, right? Sugar levels, energy, joint lubrication, sleep and wake cycle, your periods, muscle strength, hair growth, nerve conduction, your sex drive, digestion of carbs, proteins, and fats, and stress response, etc., etc., etc. So, do me a favor. I'm going to read them one more time, just so we're on the same page. Y'all give me a thumbs up if it's one that you feel like you'd like some help with, all right? So we've got growth and aging, temperature, metabolism, brain function, sugar levels, energy, joint lubrication, sleep and wake cycles, periods, muscle strength, hair growth, nerve conduction, sex drive, digestion of carbs, proteins, and lipids, stress response. All right? All of those things sound pretty key to living a good life, right? Until I started diving into this myself when I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, as I was saying at the beginning, I had a lot, metabolism, for sure. I had a lot of issues growing up, and I kind of got them under control in college, but then started taking birth control, and then I started having a whole new series of problems, which it took 6 years to basically become hypothyroidism. And so when I was trying to fix it, I wasn't able to fix it the way I had before in college, and that was because I had a whole new set of problems, which was the hormone imbalance. So I've been learning about this for literally 6 years now, trying to figure out what in heaven's name is wrong with me. And I have tried everything. If you go to Whole Foods and we go walk through the vitamin and supplement aisle, I can be like, yep, had that. Yep, tried that one. Yep, that one's good. Nope, that one sucks. I've done it all. I've spent a lot of money on it. Plus going to the doctor and taking the thyroid medicine. And some of it works and some of it doesn't. And the whole point of this webinar is to help you guys not go through all of that. Not only because it's time consuming and expensive, but because it is stressful to not know what is wrong with you, right? Someone give me an amen. When the doctor tells you there's nothing wrong with you, and you know that something is wrong with you, that just adds stress, which just adds to the problem. So I am here to tell you, if you feel like crap, something is wrong with you, don't let anyone tell you that there's not something wrong with you, and we will figure it out, all right? So, let's think about the list of the things that the hormones do in the body. If you have an issue with your hormones, these are going to be some of the symptoms you'll experience. Exhaustion and fatigue, weight gain or poor digestion, muscle and joint pain, hair loss, memory loss, depression and mood swings, painful periods, insulin resistance, insomnia, and feeling like crap. So, if you have any of those, which if you don't, please let me know your life secret, but if you have any of those, you probably have a hormone imbalance. And at this point, it's probably not life-threatening. But let's be honest, you probably do. And so we're going to figure out what do you do about it. if one hormone is out of whack, say for me, what they diagnosed was that my thyroid was out of whack, right? Then what does that do to the rest of your body? Well, I'm going to explain it in terms of traction. So my boyfriend, Alan, loves motorcycles and cars. And we were having this conversation the other day about how whenever he gets sick, what he'll do is he will eat really hot soup, get in bed, put on all of the covers, and he'll sleep it out. And then he gets well really quickly. And he's always saying, well, it's because your body only can have 100% energy. And it gives energy to digestion, immune support, and temperature. And so what I do is I don't eat that much, but I eat the hot soup to get my temperature up. And I get my temperature up, and then my body can work on immunity. And that might be genius. I never thought about that until I met him. But the same applies with your hormones, right? So the way he explains it is if you're driving a car and you come up to a sharp curve, and when you take that curve, you're going to have centripetal force, right? So as you go into that curve, what do? You slow down, you take the turn, and then you speed up out of the turn. And the point is that your car can only have 100% traction. Okay, and so you have front and back force, side force, centripetal force, and when you add something new, when you add centripetal force, you've got to balance that out. So you slow down, so you're doing the back force, then you go into centripetal force, then you go into forward force, and that is a thing that I don't understand that well, not being a huge car person, but that's what they teach you when you're 16, right? Your body is the same way, as I was just saying about getting sick and getting well. It can only do 100% of effort. So if your body is having trouble producing thyroid hormone or adrenal hormone or something, and it's putting more effort into that, then all of a sudden, what does it have to do? Make less of another hormone, right? There's actually, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into what we'll talk about in a minute, but one scary thing I discovered about your thyroid is if you're stressed and your body starts producing your stress hormone, it will also produce a backwards thyroid hormone, negative T3, which goes into the receptors and basically makes you stop digesting food and metabolizing and add fat, because your body is saying, we're not going to have time to digest things, let's just turn it into fat. Not good, right? Not good. So you wonder, why do you gain weight when you get hypothyroidism, even if you're only eating salads? That is why. Because your body is producing the opposite of what you want it to produce. So here's my story, just to kind of start us off. Okay, so, and as you jump on, because I can see the number going up a little bit, say hi to me. I can see you, Dave, but everybody else say hi so I know who it is, and I'm going to ask y'all to ask me questions at points. Okay, so y'all know I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition, with hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid. And I would go to my doctor, and she would ask me, well, are you stressed? And I would tell her, no. And she would say, I would go again, and we would have to up my dose. She would say, are you stressed? And I would tell her, no. And then I would go to the doctor again, and she would say, are you stressed? And I would tell her, no. But eventually, after the fourth or fifth time that I had to up my thyroid dose, I was like, maybe this woman is right. Like, I don't know why she keeps asking me if I'm stressed, but I must be. And it turns out, like, of course I was stressed, right? The other thing she explained was that I probably had adrenal fatigue. I also did not understand that at the moment, but I'll explain that to you. But I had a whole bunch of crap going on in my life, right? I had a failing marriage. I had a job I didn't like. I worked 60 hours a week. I would work anywhere from 4 a.m. to, starting my day at 4 a.m. to ending my day at 3 a.m. sometimes. I didn't like it. I hadn't been able to do anything creatively fulfilling since I got out of college. As soon as I made money, my husband would spend it. Life sucked, but nobody knew. I was doing a great job of pretending like everything was fine, okay? Everybody at work thought I was like super friendly, great with difficult customers, Southern charm, all of that stuff. And that was all great. But the problem was, I even had hidden from myself the fact that I was stressed out. The fact that every day my body was having to produce the hormone to deal with the emotions that I was having, with the anger, with frustration, with feeling a lack of purpose, with depression. And as my doctor was asking me, are you stressed? I really thought, like, if I tell this woman I'm stressed, right, or that I'm depressed, then I've lost all strength. Then not only do I have hypothyroidism and my life sucks, but now I also can't deal with it. And it took me so long to come to the point where I was like, yo, I can't deal. I got to change something because of pride, right? I mean, they say pride goeth before a fall. Well, I also think that sticking your head in the sand and pretending like you don't have a problem when you do also goes before a fall. And so honestly, it wasn't until I found somebody that I could have a conversation with and be vulnerable and say, like, yo, this really does suck. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just kept plugging ahead, just like towards a bad road, towards nowhere good, towards worse and worse thyroid. And, you know, I finally found someone that I felt like I could really tell him what was going on. And that ended up being my boyfriend. And so I continue. He has to listen to me tell him what's going on. But really, I just needed to be able to be vulnerable and tell somebody else, this sucks and I got to change it. And can you help me change it? And so the reason that this has become a big part of my business is because I want to be there for somebody else who is just like I was, lost. You know, people, they're sick and they don't know why. The doctors can't tell them why, or the doctors say they're crazy, there's nothing wrong with them, or you're just exhausted, you know, or you keep gaining weight, you can't stop gaining weight, or whatever it is. When you're ready to say, okay, I'm going to have to do something myself and I don't know how, then you can come talk to me. You can message me, you can email me, you can call me, and we'll work through it, because I can promise you that I have no right to judge your life story, because mine sucked. And it might have sucked less if I had been willing to admit that I needed help earlier. So, I'm just putting that out there. And I'm doing this to help you guys out, because I wish I hadn't suffered as much as I did to figure all this out. And I've gotten through it and I feel so much better. I just want everybody else to feel better. So anyway, so as we go, if I hit on something where I say something that you're like, that's me, that's my problem, leave a comment and I will, I'll either answer it now, or if I've got to keep talking for a minute, we'll come back to it. Because I really want this to be a little bit more interactive than some of the other ones. I don't just want to talk at you, if I can help it. Okay, so I've now rambled at you, and I hope that you're still with me. But we're going to get to them. So I promised you 4 things, right? 4 things you can do to improve your hormone health, to balance them out, to basically gain some control of your life and move forward. Stop worrying about the past. Stop worrying about if you have to admit that you've got issues. We're just going to move forward and we're going to get everything balanced, okay? So those things, they are 4 S's, because I like alliteration. 4 S's. The 4 S's are stress, sleep, sustenance, and support. All right? So stress. As I told you, my doctor was like, are you stressed? Are you stressed? Are you stressed? And finally I was like, okay, yes, I'm stressed. I got it, I'm stressed. And so she basically just said, look, we're going to either keep upping your medicine for the rest of your life. If that's fine, that's great. I know you don't want to take the medication. The only other thing you can do is reduce stress and improve your sleep. I still didn't get why she was telling me that, but I'm like, okay, let's just do it. Let's figure it out. So she gave me some pills. There were lavender pills. There were some melatonin pills. She gave me lots of pills to kind of help me reduce my stress. But the problem was I still didn't even understand at that point what exactly stress is. So if y'all can interact with me, if you have a definition for stress in your own life or in somebody else's life, write that down for me. Give me a comment. Because what I discovered for myself was that stress was not like freaking out. I thought if you were stressed out, then you would snap at people, you would bite their heads off, right? And that's how you know you're stressed, by your outward exhibition. But what it really was feeling like I didn't have control, and then putting all of my energy into regaining control. So I went into hyperdrive to get control of myself in the situation. And that going into hyperdrive was my body releasing all those the stress hormones, right? So if you have a different personality from me, then it may be yelling at people, it may be becoming depressed, it may be running away from the situation. But for me, it really was just working harder and harder and harder to seem like everything was fine. And that was why it took me so long to figure it out. So what does stress do to the body? So first I'm going to explain the adrenals. Who knows what the adrenals are? Who knows what adrenal fatigue is? So adrenals, they are located near your kidneys, okay? And they influence your kidney function. So there are two layers. There's an outside layer and then an inner layer to your adrenals. And the outside layer is the cortex, and it creates your corticosteroids, cortisol, which you've probably heard of. Cortisol is what produces your sleep and your wake cycle. And this one you literally cannot live without, okay? So if your adrenals get so bad, if they stop functioning so badly that you can't create cortisol, then unless somebody can give you cortisol, you will die. That's not good. So they not only do they do your sleep-wake cycle, they suppress inflammation, generate energy, taking it from non-carbohydrate food. So that's the only way to get non-carb food energy. And they regulate your blood pressure, right? So think about high blood pressure issues. That's going to be an adrenal function issue. The medulla layer, which is the inside, it's actually the smaller part of your adrenals, helps you respond to stress. So it creates adrenaline, norepinephrine, and dopamine. And those are your neurotransmitters. Those are the ones that are your primitive stress response. So when we were cavemen running around, right, and there was a woolly mammoth chasing us, or I don't know if those herbivores, they're T-Rex, whoever would have been chasing us, and you're running away, and you got to run faster than the scary beast, that is when you needed those stress hormones, right, adrenaline. But comparatively, we live a pretty normal life. Like, it's not that scary. There are no T-Rexes, there are no raptors, but our body continues to produce that, and often produces it unnecessarily. So it can be like, someone cuts you off in traffic, and all of a sudden your adrenaline goes up, and you have road rage, or someone cuts in front of you in line. And so as your body produces that, not only does it's producing that, and then some other things, it's not taking time to do some other things in your body. That's why it makes the reverse T3 and keeps you from, makes you store fat, right? Because it's like, okay, we got to run, and we're going to need energy, and we don't have time to eat right now, so we're going to store fat. So that's the first bad thing that happens, is you gain weight if you're stressed a lot. But that's just if you're stressed for a short period of time. And if that happens, if you're hiking and you run across a snake, right? You want your body to produce adrenaline, right? No problem there. But if it happens constantly, if every day you wake up and you're in a stressful situation, if something is happening to you all the time where you're producing those stress hormones, then eventually your body runs out of the building blocks. It has to take something and turn it into that stress hormone, and your body will run out, and it will not be able to continue producing it. And then your ability to handle stressful situations will decline. Also, like I said, T3, it'll start storing fat, and it'll stop producing the other hormones. So you end up with fatigue, low libido, increased inflammation, and raw nerves, snapping at people, right? If it gets bad enough, then your adrenal glands can't produce the cortisol, you stop being able to sleep, and if you can't sleep, you eventually die. So, that is the unfortunate adrenal issue path. But adrenal fatigue is the first thing you'll notice. You don't sleep as well, you're starting to gain weight, and you feel like your heart races all the time. You feel like stressful things are happening and you're not able to handle it as well. Thumbs up if anyone has ever felt like that in your entire life. If you've ever felt like, boy, I just keep snapping at people, or somebody that just keeps snapping at people, because that's a thing too. So, okay. Right? It's the truth. Okay. So, basically my point here is stress is not good for you, and you need to nip it in the bud. So how are we going to do that? All right. 1, identify the root cause. And this is the simplest and often the hardest one. So you need to be willing to say, what is causing my stress? And it could be something that you are really trying to avoid thinking about. But I'm sorry, if you continue to try to avoid thinking about that, you will continue to be stressed, and that is terrible for your body. So identify the root cause, and then decide, can I change this situation? If you can, change it. And if you can't, change your response. If you are in a job that you have to have, you just absolutely have to have it, it's the only thing you're qualified for, you'll never be able to get another job, some sort of a reason you have to have it, then you need to be able to look at your response to that situation. If, like me, you realize, I can't keep doing this job 60 hours, working crazy hours all the time, I had to say to myself, all right, we're going to have to do something. I started my business, I worked less and less hours, and eventually I'll just do my business. But the reason I started my business was not just to be creatively fulfilled, but it was to handle the situation of, I got to stop being stressed out. That was my main goal for this past year and a half, was to figure out what am I going to do about stress. And the thing is that it's not always bad stuff. It could be just learning to say no. It could be that I remember when I was a kid, and I always wanted to be in the church choir. So, junior high, the kids would meet on Sunday afternoon and they would practice singing, and I love singing. And my parents said, no, you can't be in the church choir. I'm like, why not? Well, because Sunday is a day of rest. We need that rest. You need that rest, and we're not going to drive you up there to be in the choir. It's a no can do. And I just did not get it. Like, what do you mean I can't do a church thing? That sounds crazy. But what I didn't realize, and what I realize now, is that what my parents were doing was saying a healthy no. I did lots of activities, plenty of them, all week long, and they had decided that they were going to not do things on Sunday because that was the day that they rested. So kudos to mom and dad. I get it now. Sometimes you just have to say no. And, that's just all there is to it. When I started trying to seriously de-stress, one of the first things I did was not watch any college football for an entire year. Roll Tide, big Alabama fan. But I know that when you're in the game and you're cheering on your team and you're like super excited, that obviously your stress goes up, right? Your blood pressure goes up, all that stuff. And okay, I'm not making as much money because I'm taking a step back from my business, from my career, to handle this stress. Like, I can't then go watch a football game and get stressed out. That doesn't make any sense, right? So for an entire year, I didn't watch any football because I'm like, that's how important this is. So there may be things that you can cut out. If you've still got to have that job, or you still got to stay in that relationship, you're determined to make it work, or, the kids are driving you crazy, but you love your kids, find some other stuff you can get rid of. Okay, number 2, live within your circle of influence. So I did a whole workshop on intention setting at the beginning of this month, which if you want me to give you the link, I will, or tag you in it. I've also done a blog post, which I can link you to, that basically talks about, there are a lot of things you cannot control that you worry about, but there are also a lot of things you can control that you worry about. And if you will spend your time in the little part that you can control, then you will not be nearly as stressed. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and she was saying, my husband's driving me crazy because he keeps snapping at me. Like, I get it, we're both tired. And it's like, okay, well, you can't control him. And the more you try and get him to stop snapping at you, the worse that's going to get, right? So what can you do? Is there something that you can do? Can you make a change? Can you take a moment, center yourself, and realize it's just not as big a deal. It's not as important as your relationship. It's going to have to start with you. If you can control it, you control it. That is how you get your power back over the situation. Anytime that you say, my happiness is based on people, things, or circumstances, A, you're in for a fall, and B, you do not have control. You need to have control over your own life And the way to do that is to focus on what you can do, how you can treat other people, and stop worrying about all that stuff that you can't control, right? You got plenty to do to worry about what you can control. So that's number 2. Number 3 are the crystals and oils. So if y'all watch the Balancing Emotions ones, you know I talked all about that, right? Reducing stress. And so if you want to see that again, I'll link you to that too. Just let me know. You can comment here or private message me later. Someone give me a comment, because I feel like the comments disappeared. I feel like I can't see anything. So someone just say hi or something so I know. But I'm going to give you, this is the baby version of crystals and oils, okay? Top 3 oils. Stress away. If you can tell by the name of that. Stress away. Peace and calming. Again. So those are blends. And then copaiba or cedarwood, which are the wood oils, which are very, very, very grounding. I still can't see comments, so y'all could be commenting and I would never know. So somebody comment for me. I hate this. I watch Facebook Live all the time, and sometimes it's like people are commenting and they can't see. Okay, so those are the 3. Someone give me a sad face if, oh. Thank you, Virginia. What's in the stress one? Okay. Stress away has, oh, I have to peel this one up. Hold on. Lovely. It smells amazing, by the way. This is like the prettiest smelling essential oil ever. Balsam. So that's going to be a wood, a grounding. Lime. All the citrus oils, especially lime and orange, are both energizing and joyful, but also kind of a warmer, calmer tone than, like, say, lemon would be. Lemon and bergamot are both pretty, exciting, but if you take tangerine or lime or orange, those are a little bit more of just a happiness. Cedarwood, again, which I was saying, the wood oil. I love the smell of cedarwood. Osatea, which is another wood. Lavender, which is like one of the classic ones, right? And then vanilla. So there's some vanilla, I forget what they call that, essence maybe. There's another word for it that's not, they get it differently than they do with essential oils. But anyway, so it's got like a lime vanilla smell to it. And I have this at work with me every single day, Virginia. So if you want to try it, it's literally like the best. And I put this on my bracelets. Like if I have, if I'm wearing this guy, he's got the wooden beads there. So you just drop this on the wooden beads and you can smell it throughout the day. But stress away is great for the middle of the day. Peace and calming is even more relaxing. So like an end of the evening into sleep time. And then if you need a calm / focus, that's the wood oils. Okay, and then the crystals, anything blue or green, like pastel blue or green, or even purple amethyst. So, for color, right? This little pretty guy, blue lace agate, one of the most calming stones, super, super calming. Sodalite, which is kind of like a periwinkle, deep periwinkle, I guess. And of course, amethyst, which is literally my favorite stone ever. I keep this in my pocket a lot. It's one of my chakra stones. So I also, if I'm exhausted, I'll take a nap with this on my third eye. Then you feel amazing. But okay, so besides those guys, the other crystal would be dark ones like this, smoky quartz, super grounding. If it's more of a like frenetic stress and you just need to chill out, that would be the dark stones. Okay, so are we all good on stress? Who feels like you still don't know what to do? You're gonna look at your root cause. Can you do something? Can you get rid of it? If you can't, we're gonna have to work on your response. And if you feel like you're in that situation where we need to work on your response, private message me, because I can tell you what I've done. A lot of it is work with crystals, setting intentions in the morning and saying, like I love my rose quartz for this actually. I say, I'm going to love everyone and I'm not worried about how they treat me. It's only my job to love people and spread that. And then you take the stress out of personal interactions because I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about me. Okay. Number 2, of our stress, sleep, sustenance, and support is sleep. Guys, this is a giant one. Give me a thumbs up if you have trouble sleeping at night or if you're exhausted when you wake up. I'm going to go ahead and... That was me. So, obviously, we know that stress can keep you awake at night. If you've got all these things running around in your head and you just cannot stop thinking about them, then absolutely stress has got something to do with it. The other way that stress is a problem is that you get adrenal fatigue, right? You've made all this stress hormone and all of a sudden you can't make any more. Your body doesn't know what to do. It's struggling to make stress hormone. It stops making your sleep-wake hormone, the cortisol, right? And then it doesn't know when to sleep and it doesn't know when to be awake. It also is going to lead to other glands in the body having a hard time because your body's spending so much energy over here on the adrenal gland that your pineal gland starts to not have as much attention. And your pineal gland is the one that produces serotonin and melatonin, okay? Serotonin is what wakes you up in the morning. Melatonin is what puts you to sleep at night. So who's ever been in a store or been told by somebody you need to take melatonin pills? I work at Trader Joe's, right? That's my part-time job. And we now have not only melatonin, we have like a special blend. We've got the sleepy time teas. We just started carrying GABA, G-A-B-A, which is another thing in your body that puts you to sleep because the world is having trouble sleeping. But the problem with that is that that's not helping your body produce melatonin, right? All that's doing is like giving you like a Hail Mary, like here's some melatonin, hopefully your body can use it. So what do you do about sleeping? Okay? Let's put aside, you're still stressed out, let's put that aside for a second. The other thing I want to say is I'm giving you 4 things. I'm not saying tomorrow you got to work on all 4. Okay? I started with stress, and then I went to sleep, and then I went to support actually, and now I'm going to be working on sustenance next month. But if you do what you can do, if you can do 1 or 2 things, perfect. Because it's baby steps. It is not like you don't have to be Superwoman tomorrow. Okay. So, the oils. Where's my oil? Oh, I didn't get those. But, okay, lavender and cedarwood are your oils for sleeping. Also, the peace and calming. And what you want to do here is you want to start an hour before bedtime. If you go to bed at 10, 11, 12, whatever, back it up an hour. Put this stuff on your hands or your neck or your feet or wherever you want to put it and let it go to work. And then by the time it's an hour later, your brain is starting to shut down and it's ready to go to sleep because basically, rather than taking a melatonin pill, essential oils are not medicine, right? What lavender and and cedarwood and those oils do is they actually help your body produce more melatonin. So they support your endocrine system, your hormones, and they just help your body in the morning. Actually, if you even use lavender in the morning, it helps support your endocrine system to make more serotonin. Then, as you go throughout the day, if you use it later, it helps you support your body producing melatonin. So all it's doing is helping your body do the thing that it just needs a boost with. It's not like taking a pill and just going around your body because that's not actually helping you heal, right? Okay, second thing, darkness. So my bedroom now is in the middle of the apartment, and so we have no windows at all. And that makes it harder to wake up in the morning sometimes, but honestly, it makes you sleep way better. If you have a night clock, like if you have an alarm clock, cover that up so you can't see the light of that. Try not to have your phone in the bedroom. Even I do this. I know that sucks. I need to get an alarm clock. But you definitely do not want to see that light. You want that thing turned over. You don't want any lights because that will tell your body that you should still be awake. You want like blackout curtains we're talking about here. If you have trouble sleeping, blackout curtains. Okay. Avoid foods that create sugar imbalances. So when your sugar goes up and down, your body is saying we need more energy, we need less energy, whatever. And that is going to get you out of the sleep cycle. So, I have bad news. This means stop eating sugar, don't drink as much caffeine, and stop drinking alcohol. I know nobody wants to hear that because I'm almost 100% certain that most people who have trouble sleeping at night drink a glass or two of wine before they go to bed. And that was me. It was like, at the end, it was like at least 2 glasses of wine in order to like knock myself out to go to sleep, because I was so screwed up that way. But now, unless I'm just having a party or whatever, I don't have to drink wine to go to sleep because I have fixed my body. And now drinking wine is more fun, and it's less like, all right, let's get this down so that I can go to sleep, right? Like, that sucks. But if you drink alcohol, what it will do is it'll put you out faster, but then it'll actually mess up your sugar, and then it'll wake you up in the middle of the night. So if you are using alcohol to fall asleep, you're also probably waking up during the night. Probably nobody wants to raise their hand and admit that that's happening, but that's what's going on with you if you're using alcohol. I'm going to throw you a bone here. Red wine has melatonin in it, and also lots of other good things. And Morello cherries also will help you fall asleep. So, dark cherry juice, red wine spritzer in the evening, perhaps. Not a terrible idea, but don't think that wine is going to solve your problem, because it's just like taking medication. You're masking it. You're not actually helping your body heal. Sorry, guys. Okay, turn off your devices. We all know this. Everybody says this. But seriously, for reals, if you're sick and you want to get better, read a book before bedtime. Turn off Facebook an hour before you go to bed. Like, I'm preaching to myself here too, because I really, like, that was one of the last things that I changed. I don't love doing it, but I try and read for at least 20 minutes at the end of my night and stop looking at the phone, because you can fall asleep way better. Magnesium is also known to help you sleep better. So, I actually, before I started getting into essential oils as much, I was using this guy. And so it's a good place to get started if you want. I know you can't read that, so I'm going to read to you what it is. The brand is Kiss My Bath Essentials, and Magic Body Cream is what they call it. But this is a lady that I know through my Facebook group for entrepreneurs, that this is basically all she does is magnesium creams, because she had, I think it was joint issues she had, and that really helped her with that. But it also will help you sleep. So I would just slather the bottom of my feet and then put my socks on and then go to sleep. And now what I do is I'll do this a couple days, lavender oil a couple days, this a couple days, lavender oil a couple days. And that way your body is not getting used to one thing, right? So if you want to know, if you want me to give you a link to her shop, she's lovely, I can do that. Or if you just want to start out with the oil, with lavender oil or cedar wood, either one of them work. But here's the thing, if you use this, I work, I probably shouldn't, but I work right up until it's time to go to bed, and then I'll read, and then I'll go to bed. And so my brain is still going, right? And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to sleep. There's no way I'm going to be able to sleep. And then I lay down, and then I'm out almost immediately. So it's not like when you drink a bunch of wine and you slowly are like, oh my God, I'm really tired. It will, once you get into the dark room, it'll put you out like that. So you just have to kind of trust it and just go to sleep, and then it'll help you out. But you'll be able to still function while you're getting stuff done for that last hour, which is nice. Okay, questions about sleep. Key. Super, super important. And again, if y'all have questions, if any of this is like, this is me, I can't sleep, but I still don't understand, write a comment for me, and I'll go back through whatever it is you need. One more thing before I move on to food. So if you are tired during the day between 3 to 7, I have news for you. Did you know that your body repairs different parts of the body, different organs at different times of day? There's actually a whole clock of what time your body is doing, is healing what. And you can just Google that, and you can find all the information on it. But between 3 and 7 is your kidneys and your bladder, and your adrenals affect your kidneys. So if you are tired between 3 and 7, you probably have adrenal fatigue. That's just another clue for you. If you're tired between 7 and 9, or cranky or whatever, that's your pancreas, so sugar imbalance. So you really need to control that part of your diet. If you have trouble sleeping from 11 at night to 3 in the morning, that's your liver and your gallbladder, and that is going to be your thyroid, okay? And so if you have trouble sleeping between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., like if you went to bed at 10, you'd be okay, but if you're still up at 11, you can't sleep, then you need to look at the alcohol, because the alcohol obviously puts pressure on your liver, right? It makes your liver work harder. And if your liver is already having trouble and that's what's keeping you awake, you're just not doing yourself any favors. So that is why I love wine. I almost became a sommelier. Like, I really thought about it because I love it that much. And I used to work at the Trader Joe's wine store. But, when it comes down to health, I had to stop drinking wine. I hadn't drinking alcohol at all. And I still don't drink like nearly as much. But all week long, I don't really drink. Even though I'm Irish, right? But I realized I was not doing myself any favors. If I'm trying to make my liver healthy, and the liver is what helps you transfer one thyroid hormone into the active one, like, I gotta stop messing around here. My health is more important. All right, so for good with stress, we're gonna go to sustenance, to your food. This one, we're actually, all the month of June is gonna be about digestive health. So if you have any sort of digestive troubles, you know what they are. I won't list all of the gross things, but anywhere from just like you're gassy or you have indigestion to like Crohn's, IBS, what's ulcerative colitis, like, on that end of the spectrum. Anywhere in there, we're going to work on that next month because that will screw your hormones up too, and here's why. Inflammation. Okay, inflammation is linked to autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's, thyroid issues, diabetes, fibrocystic breast cancer, infertility, pelvic inflammatory disorder, and lots of other things. But if you have inflammation, there is a hormone that fights inflammation that also, I'm 99% sure, is your adrenals. And so if your body is trying to fight inflammation constantly, it's not doing all the other hormonal work. So here are the 3 S's of sustenance: sugar, soy, saturated fat. Sugar, you guys know, it produces inflammation. It makes your sugar go up and down like this, right? And that's going to be your body having to produce insulin, which is going to screw up your other hormones, okay? And if you have a sweet tooth and you need to get off sugar, honey is the way to go. So that's your tip there. Soy is awful for you. I will yell at you if you want to yell at me about soy. I don't care. We can have an argument over this. I love vegetarians and I love vegans, but you cannot eat soy, okay? Unless you have cooked it or fermented it, and it's a little bit. Soy is terrible for you. It acts like estrogen in the body, and I'm sorry, but cancer. It also creates inflammation, and it blocks your thyroid function. So if you have issues with depression or low energy, stop eating soy. And the scary thing is that it is in everything. So that really means stop eating processed foods. Nobody wants to hear that, but if you are serious about your health and you are exhausted, stop eating sugar and stop eating soy. Try coconut milk instead of soy milk. Get your coconut oil, get your like good stuff from coconuts, and stop it with the soy. Okay. It also interferes with your ability to take in iodine, which is another thyroid thing. So I can see people have left because they're like, I can't with soy. Sorry, guys. Saturated fats. Okay. So if you think I'm going to tell you not to eat saturated fats, you're wrong. Saturated fats are actually the fats that are good for you. The good saturated fats. You don't want to eat too much animal fat. So I'm not saying don't be a vegetarian, I promise. But fish is better for you than red meat. That's just the truth. But the problem is that safflower, sunflower, corn, soy, peanut oils, all those oils that are like the low fat oils, those actually increase inflammation. And if you have questions about that, I can go into the way that fat molecules work and the way that plaque happens in your bloodstream, because it's not coconut oil that's the problem. It's the unsaturated oils, or what do they call it? The ones that they resaturate. Anyway, okay, so olive oil, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, those are your oils of choice if you want to take care of your hormone issues from that direction. Okay, well, we'll talk more about that next month. So, last part, easy part, support. So if you feel like just watching this is stressing me out, and I need to fix this, but I don't have time to de-stress. I don't have time to work on, my digestion. I don't have time to work on my sleep. Then you need to do what you can do, and you need to get support. Now, for me, that was taking the thyroid medication and getting off of that as I found other ways to support myself. But I'm not telling you not to listen to your doctor. Go to the doctor. I am not a doctor. But if you find the right doctor, they will also want you to back off your meds, okay? So you don't have to take prescriptions in order to help your body heal. It's not helping you heal. It's putting a Band-Aid on the issue. And basically, the thing that I found that supported me the most was the essential oils, and here is why. Because I have a bad digestive system. I have my whole life. And if you take a pill or if you take a supplement like a vitamin or a mineral, then your body has to digest it, and it has to get the support from that through your digestive system. With the essential oils, when you breathe them in or you put them on your skin, then automatically it goes into your bloodstream and it gets to work on your cells without you having to digest it. So I know I've said that in every video I've done, but that is key. That is why essential oils are such a big deal for me, because it goes right to work in your cells without and avoids your digestive system, okay? So the first thing you can do is, before you get into the oils, is probiotics. I was taking probiotics before it was cool. In like 2001, 2002, I was taking probiotics. That's a lie. 2006, halfway through college. So what that is going to do is restore your gut health and help you to absorb nutrients that you need for your hormones, like magnesium. Because I want to show y'all what I use, because if you don't know, you'll go, I've tried every single probiotic. Literally, if you've been to Whole Foods and you're in the probiotic section, I've tried them all. A lot of them suck. Some of them are great. Garden of Eden, I think it is, that you can get at Whole Foods. That one I liked for a while. Then I found Perfect Biotics, which you have to buy online, I think, by Probiotic America. That one I really like. The problem is, in order to get it at anything that is like anywhere near affordable, you have to buy a ton at a time, which kind of annoyed me. So now that I use Young Living, now that I'm using essential oils, they have one that's Life 9. I just got this, so I can't tell you that it's a miracle worker yet, but that's going to be one of the things we talk about next month. So this one is affordable, and you only have to buy one at a time. So that's why I would recommend that over the Probiotic America. Okay, so besides that, essential oils for supporting your endocrine system. Number one, most important one, Endoflex. This is the one that I started with. It is made specifically for your endocrine system. Every single thing in here is for balancing hormones. Spearmint, sesame, sage, geranium, myrtle, matricaria, and nutmeg, chamomile, I think too. Yeah. So all of those are great for supporting your endocrine system. I was using this in the morning on my feet and at night in the diffuser when I came home for a month, and then I stopped taking my thyroid medicine. I'm just telling you, it works like a charm. The other one that I was taking at the same time was Valor, which is also just for courage, but there's some great endocrine system support in that guy too. If you have thyroid issues, if you feel like low energy, gaining weight, depression, if that speaks to you, you probably have a thyroid issue like I do. And peppermint is, if it's low, if you have hyperthyroidism, hey Misty, if you have hyperthyroidism, then you're like nervous all the time, you can't keep weight on, do not use peppermint oil. So we're closing up, Misty, but if you have questions, go ahead and ask me and you can watch it back. But we're on support. So what are the things you can do to support? So yeah, but if you need more energy, basically peppermint will raise your body temperature. It helps you digest your food, and it basically is going to help you to metabolize faster, which is what you need if you have a thyroid issue. So that's why peppermint I would add with Endoflex. I didn't know that at the time, but now I use it a lot. Clove is also a great one. It's also great for anti-inflammatory, which just in general you need if you have hormone issues. I don't think I grabbed that one, but yeah. If you feel like your hormone issues are particularly with the female hormones, with your estrogen or progesterone, then you're going to want these. Clary sage and thyme. Okay? Both of those help you to balance out your ovaries or, well, yeah, it's just the female hormones, so the ovaries and the production of hormones. Sandalwood, I believe, is the one that's for testosterone. But I didn't grab that. A, I don't have it, but B, well, I figure I'm mostly talking at women here. But anyway, so clary sage and thyme are great female hormone balancers. The one thing about clary sage, if you're pregnant, don't do it because it can help you to start your labor. It can cause uterine contractions if you use a lot of it, or if you're almost ready to go into labor. So that's my only thing. That's like the one that they don't recommend for pregnant women. But if that's not you, if you have painful periods, if you have trouble, like if it's a heavy flow, all that sort of stuff, PMS, these guys. And let me just tell you, I'm going to be honest, one of the things as my hypothyroidism got worse and worse was that my period started getting sooner and sooner. So it was for like the past almost 2 years. It's happened every 3 weeks, and I'm sorry, that sucks. And occasionally now it's like regular, but mostly it's still too short. So that's a thing I'm going to be working on, and once I get it figured out, I'm going to let you guys know, because there've got to be more people than me who took birth control, ended up with thyroid issues, and now their period is screwed up. So peppermint is great for cravings. So I would start there. If you put a drop of peppermint under your tongue or even on your thumb and the roof of your mouth, that's great. The thing, they say eat a mint or chew peppermint gum. The problem with that is those usually have sugar in them. And if you give, you have microorganisms in your mouth too. Like there's yeast in your mouth. So if you give those little guys sugar, then all they want is more sugar. So do not do that. But a drop of peppermint. I think also thieves, I feel like. Thieves or, cinnamon, something like that. Like a spicy oil. You could even try if you really want to try it, thyme. But that would be pretty spicy. Oh yes, thyroid is connected to birth control, hypothyroidism. You look that up because I'm mad. Yeah. It's like one of those things they tell you it's safe. It's safe. And so I can't get political right now, but when that's what we're talking about, whether or not we should be allowed birth control, my heart just sinks, because that's why they say up to 85% of women have a thyroid condition. And that's a lot of it, because when you take, and it's not just your thyroid, it can be other things as well, because if you pump a whole bunch of hormones into someone's system, what do you think that's going to do? That is going to create an imbalance. So you can, and they say that it doesn't create weight gain. Also eye roll. Because as soon as I started taking birth control, I got a little pot belly, immediately. I always had a super flat stomach. I'm a flute player, so I use my abs all the time. I remember my fiance, I remember being like, honey, I got a little pot belly now. He's like, oh, it's cute. I'm like, no, but I think the birth control is giving me, anyways. So some people, maybe it doesn't happen, but I also have type O blood, which makes me more likely to have thyroid issues. So it may just, and I'm naturally a little bit sicker. So, I'm just more prone to it probably, but you don't want to play with that, because it sucks to have hypothyroidism. But anyway, so clary sage and thyme, for the female hormone issues. But the reason that you get a period more often is often because of estrogen, dominance, which is also related to plastic and soy. So I'm going to try and up my progesterone. That's what I'm going to be working with, and I'm hoping that will happen. Yeah, Misty, anything I'm telling y'all, go research it, because I've already done that, and I know if you just Google this, you might find some crazy stuff here and there, but you will find that the majority of it that is sensible and has facts, you know, you can tell that it's factual, but will back me up. And it depends. There's some people's personalities who they don't have time for that, and some people like me who just have to go figure it out. And if you do all the work that I did, you'll find the same answers. But hopefully what I'm doing here for those of you like that is just giving you a place to start, rather than like me just Googling like thyroid. And if you start from there, like, it's a long way to get to where I've gotten. Let me just tell you. But okay, so I know this, I'm sure this has gone on a long time, and for those of you that had to jump off and you come back later, I know that I've talked a lot because I'm a talker, but also because there's so much more even that I can tell you right now. And I'm going to send y'all, like I said, I'm going to send you an email that has all the listing of all of the different hormones. And yeah, Misty, we need to talk because we're gonna figure it out for you. I promise. That anyone with a thyroid issue is like just absolutely near and dear to my heart. My heart sinks when I meet people with a thyroid issue because it is like the saddest thing. And then you get depressed, and then you think that there's something wrong with you because you're depressed, but it's really that your thyroid is screwed up. That's a whole other story. But so okay. But I couldn't tell you guys everything, right? So if you have adrenal fatigue, if you feel like you're aging too quickly, if you have problems with your period, if you have, cystic fibrosis, if you have pelvic inflammatory disease, my sister-in-law had that. If you have like all of there are so many different things that can go wrong with your thyroid that I can't go over all of it in here. But if you reach out to me, like I said before, all I want to do is be here to, I've told you my story. When you go back and watch this, if you jump on, like, you'll hear, like, my life sucked. Part of it was my fault. Part of it was not my fault. And eventually I just had to be vulnerable and say, I can't do it. I just need help. So I'm here on the other side of this to allow you the space to be vulnerable, say you need help, and let me help you with any way that I can. If there's something I can't do for you, let me point you in the direction of somebody else who can help you, because you do not have to feel like crap. You don't. I did for a long time. I don't feel like crap anymore. And, and I can say I did it, right? I can say, like, I took control. I stopped having my head in the sand. I stopped saying, woe is me, or it's somebody else's fault, or the doctor will fix me. And I figured it out, and I want you guys to be able to feel better too. So that is all I have for you. I'm going to get that email together with all the glands and all of the hormones and all of that. But private message me, because I know some people probably don't feel like, bearing their soul on this right here. But private message me or leave a comment with a question, and we're going to figure it out. I promise. And next month we're going to talk about digestive health, which is also near and dear to my heart, because I still to this day have not figured it all the way out, and we're going to figure it out together. So thank you guys so much, everybody who came. Love you guys. I'm so excited that we are going to continue to get healthier together. So I will talk to you guys next time, and soon I will let you know what's coming up with the next workshops. Next Tuesday is the releasing ceremony. If you want to not be stressed, that is a good first place to start. So I will see you guys then, and y'all have a lovely night, and thank you for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.